Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Hitman Assassination challenges. We're on the final test again, and this time we're going to be doing the actual drowning mission. And in the previous video, you will see me do the beginning of this setup, but then I went on to do a different one because the game wasn't doing what I wanted it to, and now we're going to get that actually completed, as should be. So we're going to sneak in the same way we've done a few times now, because we want to go to the right and grab the uniform from the lockers. This uniform allows us to get both the poison and the vodka, and then we can go from there doing the poisoning. So we need the Colonel to help us to poison this guy. And a couple of things you need to be aware of in this game. When you poison people in this game, it doesn't kill them unless you use the lethal poison. If you use the rat poison, it will just make their stomach upset and it will send them to go to the closest toilet. The good news is, you can use this to your advantage to wait in the toilet and kill them. Which, if my grandma heard me say that sentence, she would probably not be happy, because she doesn't quite understand video games and the notion of why anybody would want to kill people in them. But I try to explain it, and she still disagrees. But right there as well was some more poison, if you're curious, and I'm going to be climbing up into this window like this. But that is a pretty interesting conversation, because I have some younger cousins who are gamers a little bit. They play the odd game and whatnot, and when they talk about it, when it's out of context and you don't really have any context for what games are, it literally sounds like we're breeding sociopaths, which is kind of cool. Not the sociopath thing, just the impression of it, because of course I don't want anybody to be one of those, because they're generally not very nice folk. So there goes the poison. We're now going to wait in the bathroom, and the logic of this is we're waiting for the Colonel to come in here so we can steal his body, and I'm probably going to wait in this box. Because when in Rome, get in the box. But there's a lot of dead air. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight as to what was happening with this game when I first purchased it, because they've patched it now apparently, and we might not see it again, and if we don't, I'll be incredibly happy. So for some reason this game works off of the old Xbox One just ludicrous system of DRM, of constantly online. It needs an internet connection at all times to offer you the full richness of your Hitman experience. This is the words it uses. Full richness. Because there's something rich about having a functional game. Yeah, really rich, guys. I love that wordplay. But essentially, you need to be logged in to an online server which has nothing to do with Xbox Live and entirely to do with the Hitman servers at all times to access the full game. If you lose that connection, regardless of what you're doing, it boots you to the main menu, and all you can do is play the missions offline, where you cannot use the leaderboards, you cannot do the challenges, you can't do any of the feats, you can't do any of the interesting shit and have it actually save and log and take effect. You can't access the contracts, you can't access the escalations, you cannot do anything but play a bare bones version of the missions with zero reward / saved progress. So it's fundamentally pointless to play online. How he doesn't see me in the mirror, I have no idea. And that's how the game functions. And they've been having server problems. So this mission, imagine if when I went into the locker room to get the disguise I'm wearing, it booted me to the main menu. That's what it was doing. Without fail, almost every time. And when you're playing Paris and you're taking a minute and a half to load into the world, only to get booted 2 minutes into a potentially 9-minute long mission, it's one of the most frustrating experiences in the world. And that's what it was doing. All day, as I tried to play it. It got to the point, guys, where I couldn't play this game. I had to stop trying, because it was making me so angry. And it was just really disappointing, really depressing, and just an absolute shame. Because there's nothing wrong with your internet when these moments happen, because I was still logged into Xbox Live, I still had all my friends, I could message them, I could go to the store, all that good stuff. My internet was fine, and that's coming from somebody who has internet that is pretty much powered by a combine harvester and an army full of farmers. Yet the servers were like, oh sorry, we've shit the bed, and you were gone every time. And it kept doing it, and they've patched it now apparently to give you better server connectivity. And I still got one disconnect yesterday, but I played for about 4 hours, and I only had one, which is really good news, because it means it's got a hell of a lot more stable. But if you played this game in the first 4 to 5 days of its release, it was one of the toughest struggles I've ever experienced. And That's coming from somebody that's been, I was there when Modern Warfare 2 launched on the multiplayer servers, when they all died and nobody could get on, all that kind of good stuff. I was there when they released Destiny and we realised they sold as an empty game. I've been at these places where things were really underwhelming, and this is by far the worst. The only thing I can think that's as bad as this is what they've done to Street Fighter V, where the only thing they essentially gave you in that empty husk of a game was the multiplayer component, and then they couldn't connect you to a fight because it was just completely broken as well. And if this is the current trend of next generation games, it makes me really worried. But now we've poisoned him and we've got him to drink, we get him to drown because we're not very nice people. So there he goes. Some nice sound effects on the toilet bowl. The Foley artist probably had a fun time with that one, splashing in the bog. But now he's done, we can make our exit with another challenge completed. Also, if you're interested in watching just straight walkthroughs of these missions, using suit only, silent assassin with no non-targets knocked out, feel free to check out my walkthrough that I've made of episode 1. It's in a playlist, it's available now. It's going to be complimentary to these videos, because these are just do the challenges, get shit done. But there goes that one. And then the next one is sweeping snow in Siberia. So for this, you have to disguise yourself as one of the interior guards, and you have to shoot the target with an assault rifle. If you aim an assault rifle at the target when he's looking at you, he will get suspicious and start to panic, but it doesn't matter because hopefully you're going to put a high caliber round through his face. So we've gone to the right a bunch of times, it's time to go to the left as we push forward into the base. And you know how we're going to infiltrate because we've done it a million times at this point. One thing I find really tough about this opening installment of Hitman is not only can you buy this for full price and this is all you get, but if you got into the beta on PlayStation 4 and PS4, you've already seen these levels. The only level you've not seen is Paris. So if you murdered the beta when it came out and you had a ton of fun with it, if you bought the full priced package, you spent $60 for one mission that was unplayable at launch, unless you did it offline. I don't know how the PlayStation Network was like, and I don't know how the PC was like, but on the Xbox One, it was great for half a day, and then I think when everybody got on, it just died. But can you imagine that? Putting down that kind of coin? I mean, you know it's going to be episodic. We all knew it was going to be episodic. They went from being episodic to not being episodic to being episodic. We knew it was going to be this way. And I don't think it's a bad model in a lot of ways. I just think if you're going to do it this way, your first episode has to knock it out of the park. You have to kill it. You really do. Because if you don't, you're losing half your market. Like, there's a bunch of people that might have picked this game up or looked into picking this game up, and all they saw in the reviews where it takes forever to load, it constantly kicks you out, and it has a bunch of technical bugs. And when you read those things, are you going to pay your hard-earned $60 for that? I don't think you're gonna. You probably bought Destiny or bought The Division or something. You know, doing something else. Playing Overwatch, or is it Black Desert Online? All these free games that you can pick up that have got so much going for them, and you didn't even drop any cash. Though the guns in this game sound really nice. They've got a good punch to them. But we just put a bullet through his face, so it's time to get away. And we're going to get away the same way we've been doing in previous videos, so you've seen this all before, guys. I just think it's a tough sell. And that's what makes it so frustrating to me, personally, is what you're watching now, does this look fun to you? This is a fun game. This is a cool game. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of stuff to see. And when you don't know these missions and you're first discovering them and you're watching what people do, you're seeing where they go, you're seeing how you can manipulate where they go and all the stuff you can fuck with, it's awesome. It's so much fun. I had the biggest Cheshire grin on my face, or Cheshire cat smile or whatever. I was adoring what we were doing. I was absolutely loving it. And then I get disconnected, and it soured my heart, and soured it, and soured it, and soured it, and it got to the point where I didn't play it for about 3 days. I was just playing other games. Because it just... There's nothing worse. It's how I imagine... You know, if you fell in love with somebody who was perfect, everything about them was what you wanted in a woman. They were absolutely awesome, amazing, and you can't imagine being with anybody else or wanting to be anywhere else. And then when you start getting it on, you get to that heated moment and you're all full of passion and hormones and things, And then you get down to business, and she's like a fucking Barbie doll with no bits. And there's nowhere to put anything. And you're just kind of like, ugh! This cannot be! That's what this game felt like. It really did. All I wanted to do was penetrate, and there was nothing to penetrate. It sucked. But we're dropping a light on this fella. And to do so, we have to go outside. So I'm going to use a guard outfit to do this so that people don't get mad at me. And you are also going to need a crowbar. I thought you could just maybe shoot this light and it'd fall, but I don't think that's the way it works. The good news is, which I keep saying that and I hate it. Every time I say the good news is, guys, take a drink, because it's not leaving anytime soon, and I hate it as much as you do. Fortuitously, there is a crowbar on the way to getting this, so make sure you pick it up. And then wait for him to stand still, and then drop the light. And then all you need to do now is get away. You can even carry the crowbar, and everyone's like, oh, who's that soldier carrying a crowbar? He's like, oh, he must be new. Ah. I'm going to look this way now. And nobody cares as I drop it after pressing the D-pad a million times. But there goes another challenge, folks. Nice and swift. Knocking it out of the park. Also, I really like listening to conversations in this game, because not only do they give you opportunities, which is a mechanic I should really explain, but I haven't. There is a system in this game called opportunities. It will showcase and highlight areas of insertion / assassination methods that you might not be aware of, and you can choose whether or not to follow it and track it, and the game will update you on it and help you do it. The first thing I did when I was playing this game is I turned them off, because I wanted to figure that stuff out myself. It kind of bites you in the ass on Paris, because Paris is so complex and the scripting on it is so wonky at times. Half the shit doesn't work right, but you can make it work. You just have to understand the systems, and hopefully with my videos and your own savvy, you'll be able to do both.